Okay, we're gonna try this again. I don't know why, but it seems like every time I try to video something, it don't work. So I'm making some little parts here. These are some of the first real parts I've made on this thing. So you can see all the chips from some of the steel stuff that I've been doing. Some stock. Let's see, I'm trying to find. That was the very first thing I turned. Just a little Jacob's Chuck arbor, and didn't work. Had everything wrong. So I now have coolant. As you can see, everything's nice and wet in here. Here's some chips, and I made this thing. So I bought some of these tools on eBay, and somebody had taken a boring bar holder and milled all of this out to where you could count, sort of back up a drill chuck and, stick a short drill in here. If you look, that's back as far as it goes. So I really don't have, let's focus. Come on. Okay. Don't want to focus. I really don't have a lot of room. Focus. There we go. For this thing to have a lot of drill bit here. So basically, if this started out here, then that's 2 or 3 inches less room that I've got to actually drill something. So my part would have to be short in order for it to come in and drill it. So that was a great idea, but this was crooked. So I made this arbor in this lathe, but essentially this was crooked. So I made a couple of arbors and put in here, and they were sort of cockeyed this way. So when you would bring it in, the drill bit was trying to drill like this instead of straight in like that. So I ended up putting a boring head in the drill chuck and just manually pulling this in. I took a coaxial indicator, found the center of the bore, and then just used the boring head to open it up. Just kind of went back and forth and opened that bore up. And once I got it right, I knew that it's going to be true to this chuck, and I just remade another one of these shanks that had the larger diameter. So I'm thinking I've got a whole bunch of these tools that I bought. I've got one in there that the face right here is chewed up pretty good. So I'm thinking about putting it in the mill, cutting all of this back to where I can make me another one. That way, if I've got a couple of drill bits that I want to use, I can have a couple of drill chucks, make it a little bit easier on myself. So here we go. Hopefully this thing will not mess up like it did the last time I tried to film this. It's been running great, and I tried to film the last part, and a bunch of stuff messed up. So here we go. So you can hit there's the profile. Hit start again. I'm going to turn the feed down a little bit because I've got this stuff way too fast, and I'm just sort of compensating with my feed override for my lack of knowledge on this thing. There you go. So I had to change this. It was trying to change the tool right on the part. So that's a grooving tool. I got that on eBay, and that thing is awesome. So it's just going to go in there and make that little cut for me. I'm trying to get you a better view of this thing. Let's see. It's actually a pretty quick little program. I wish I could get a better view of it. With that coolant, it sort of makes it kind of tough to see. And it just parted the part off. It's going to go back to its tool change position, change to tool 1, go to Z0, and then X. So what that does is it allows me, I think I'm pushing the thing back in my jaws. That must be what it's doing. So, oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. There's my sort of part. I don't know how I did that, but that's what it's supposed to be. So somehow, I think what it's doing is pushing the part back in the jaws as it's making it. I don't think I'm tightening the jaws down quite enough. So, the idea behind this is supposed to come back to my Z0, and I just manually put that in to where I can, let me grab this. I can then reset for the next part using my tool. So now I can bring this in here, tighten this down. I'm going to set you up here so I can really give it some. There we go. And there it is. So I'll tell you what, I am going to move this. Let's see, how can I do this so you can see the next run? Try like that, maybe. Alright, so take this thing back to its tool check position, hit start, start. I'm going to turn my feed rate down just a little bit more. So here it is. I'm going to do a facing op. See if I can get you a better view. Okay. There's just no good way to get you a better view of this thing. Maybe that. Oh. I accidentally hit the space bar. I can't tell. There you go. Hopefully I'll make a good part this time. Mean to do that. Alright. Oops, sorry. Just going to go back and change tools. That cut. He's got one more cut to do here. And a part off. And there it goes. Hopefully that was a good part. Change into tool 1, goes back to Z0 and then to X. Let's see, where'd that part go? There it is. Okay, I actually made that one right. A nice little radius on the head there. And then I'll do the second up on the back side. Cool. So there's the part. That's actually the first part that looks right that I've made. So either way, I just thought you guys would want to see this thing actually do its job. But it is awesome. I'm used to these things. And while I absolutely love my Howa lathe, I have a feeling it's not going to be used that much now. Most of the parts that I need to make are just like this. They're not, well, not this one, it's messed up. But they're not real big. They're not great big huge parts. They're just kind of you know, bushings or pins or something like that. The biggest downfall to this thing is my length. So, you know, I can go, I think 9 inches from the stock or the chuck to here or something like that. So I really don't have a lot of length in this, which is probably my biggest problem. I would, honestly, I don't need as really more diameter than what I've got, but what would really be nice is just a little bit more bed length that way. I think the SL1As have just a little bit more bed length to them. I wouldn't mind having one of those, but I think what I'm going to do is eventually go to a fairly substantial lathe at some point. And I've actually got access to another one of these. It's not a Howa, it's a Sharp, and I really don't like the controls on it. So this one, it's just buttery smooth. Everything that you use on it's just, you know, when you're threading, you can just engage it really easily. Everything slips right in. When you're doing your feed engagement, it's just so easy and simple on this lathe. The Sharp, you know, you've got a knob that you have to pull out and push in to do your feed engagement, and it's stiff and it's aggravating. So, but what I've thought about doing is buy the Sharp, basically gut a lot of this stuff, take all of this out of it, and replace a lot of that with ball screws and do a CNC conversion. So do like the Sharp has actually got an enclosure up to here on the back side, so I could literally just bring the enclosure on over, make me some doors, and essentially have a CNC tool room lathe if I wanted to. So the bigger stuff I could do on it, where the smaller stuff, I've got a nice tool changer and all that in here, and this would cover the vast majority of that kind of stuff. So I don't know what I'm, you know, the Centroid controller, after messing with it and finally getting used to it, and I think in one of my videos I said I was disappointed with their support, and honestly the company support kind of sucked. But when I got on their forums, man, there was a guy on their forums that really helped me get this thing going. There was a setting that he told me about with the spindle encoder that got all of this working. He helped me get all of my spindle stuff right, so it was a huge help. And I thought about buying essentially one of these kits. I don't think it'd be this one in particular. I think it's the Acorn. They're not super expensive, but I thought about doing that, and I figure for maybe $4 grand, I could take a Sharp lathe this size and put it right here. So get rid of the shaper, move this somewhere else, and I could have a CNC lathe, CNC bigger lathe, CNC mill, sort of CNC mill. I have a pretty decent little CNC shop. You know, I really didn't expect that I would kind of go this route with CNC stuff. I really wanted to do more manual stuff, and I really like doing it. And I think there will always be a place for your larger lathes, your manual stuff for certain things. But, you know, I was able to come home tonight and make maybe, shoot, it took me an hour to get to that point with these, and I screwed up a few of them, and I changed some of the stuff. Now, it did take me, you know, when I was programming it, it took, let's see, it took a little while to get all the tool paths in, but it's really not as hard as I thought it would be. So I've just got, you know, different tool paths in here, and everything works really well so far. So either way, I just wanted to show you that. So anybody has any questions, let me know. Have a good one. Bye.